Hey, what's going on YouTube? So today I'm going to showcase my endgame Zenkosh build updated for the Necrom DLC patch. This build is capable of pulling over 101k on the parse dummy and is viable and tailored for most group content. The build will revolve around using a static rotation rather than dynamic, and with all endgame builds, since this is a group focused build, it will revolve around using trial or best in slot gear, so it's not a beginner friendly build. Furthermore, please use these builds as a baseline, as different situations and scenarios will require different gear sets and skills. With that being said, here we go. So as per usual, starting off with the character sheet, I have 64 points into Magicka. We're building this Zenkosh as a Magicka build, but we're going to be wearing medium armor. For the race, I chose High Elf because High Elves have some of the best passives for Magicka DPS. In terms of food, you have a few different options, but if you do need recovery, then Clocked Sister's Fillet is probably your best choice. A cheaper and almost as good alternative would be Witch Mother's Potent Brew. For parsing, just standard green max mag food will work just fine. As for the potions, because we do have access to the major buffs, these being Major Sorcery and Prophecy, through our skills, Degeneration, Flames of Oblivion, and Inner Light, we can just use tri-stat potions, or if you want to spend a little money to pull a little bit more DPS, Heroes and Potions could work. So for CP, for the blue tree, we're going to be running Exploiter, Deadly Aim, Thaumaturge, and Wrathful Strikes. Swap out Exploiter for crit damage CP, especially in content if you need more crit damage. For the red tree, we have the typical three: Balanced Vitality, Fortified, and Rejuve. And then the last one, you can just run whatever you want. I chose Siphoning Spells for this one. For the gear, we're wearing 5 pieces of Alkosh, 5 pieces of Zen, Harpooner's Waiting Kilt, and Zon Monster Set. So breaking it down, in the main hand we have a Nirnhone Zen's Dagger with a poison damage enchant. In the offhand, Charged Alkosh Dagger with a flame damage enchant. On the back bar, we're running a Zen's Inferno infused with a weapon damage enchant. For the head and shoulders, we have 2 pieces of Zon, 1 in medium, 1 in light, both divines with max mag. And for 4 pieces of the body, we're running Alkosh, all traded divines with max mag, and Harpooners, divines max mag. And lastly, we're running 3 pieces of Zen's Jury with weapon and spell damage enchants, all traded in Bloodthirsty. And lastly, for the skills, we're going to be running Engulfing Flames. This is a standard DK dot, also increases damage of all flame abilities. This is also on the dummy. Molten Whip, this is our spammable. Furthermore, we can gain stacks when we use Ardent Flame abilities. Venomous Claw, a stamina based dot, really strong. Flames of Oblivion, this gives us access to the Major Prophecy and also is semi-AoE because it does shoot fireballs at 3 enemies every 5 seconds. Deadly Cloak is here because it's a good dot, and on top of that gives you major evasion. Flawless Dawnbreaker on the front bar for the Fighters Guild passive and a cheaper ultimate to use. On the back bar, we're running Degeneration for access to Major Sorcery and Brutality. Unstable Wall of Fire because we are using an Inferno Staff on the back bar, so this is a good dot. Eruption, another DK dot. And Barb Trap for the Minor Force, also gives us access to a ton of hemorrhaging and does good bleed damage. And Inner Light is here so that we have Major Prophecy on both bars. And lastly, the Standard of Might for big burst damage. So for the rotation, we are running a static rotation, meaning we're going to be casting skills in a certain order. So start off with your back bar dots. These are Degen, Wall, Eruption, and Trap. Bar swap into Deadly Cloak, Flames of Oblivion, Engulfing Flames, and Venomous Claw. And then you're going to do 3 whips, bar swap into a recast of Wall, and then 7 whips, and then you just rinse and repeat. As far as your standard goes, you can just drop that whenever your dots are down, and you can just replace one of your whip casts with it. And if you're nearing towards the end of a fight, you can always choose to drop Dawnbreaker, especially if you can't get enough ult for another standard. Try to make sure you proc your Alkosh on your front bar because you don't have Alkosh on your back bar. So closing thoughts very quickly. If you do need to run Stone Giant, you can run Stone Giant. I'd recommend going all stamina if you're going to be running Stone Giant. It is a really nice little group buff and does okay damage as well. Instead of running Degen, you can also run Igneous Weapons to give everyone in your group Major Sorcery. It does do no damage, but it does last like over a minute, so it's a really good skill. Furthermore, another thing you can do is you can run Spalder if you want to. The sustain on this build is insanely good, so you can drop Zons for 1 piece Spalder and then 1 piece like Slime Crawl. So if you want to push a little bit more DPS, 2-hander back bar probably does a little bit more damage. The reason why I didn't want to do it is because it would ruin the static rotation, meaning that like Carve having recasted every 30 seconds and Stampede 15 was really hard to just incorporate into a static rotation. And I think that wraps it up. As always, thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below, or better yet, come join our Discord. Link is in the description. I will have a written guide linked in the description for those who prefer that instead. And as always, thank you to my YouTube members. If you want to help me support my content creation, please consider becoming a member. And as always, thanks again, and see you in the next one.